This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. On alert for more Haitian migrants. Nearly 1,000 expect to be repatriated by the end of the week as well. Former Public Service Minister Brent Roll says recent promotions were not political, as the BPSU says the government should follow through with promotions for deserving public servants. BPSU President Kingsley Ferguson will be our guest this morning. It's all straight ahead. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We apologize for our very late start. We had a major technical issue this morning. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Don Sargent will be joining us in just a moment. Also this morning, we've got another drawing in the Bahamas Vaccination COVID Raffle. 2 more winners today. And in Morning Blend Business, will there be a Junkanoo season this year? We've got the head of the JCNP with us who's going to talk about it, what we can expect come the holidays. It's all straight ahead this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, nearly 1,000 Haitian migrants who illegally entered the Bahamas within the last week are expected to be repatriated by the end of the week. That's according to Minister of Immigration Keith Bell, who yesterday added that the government has information that more migrants are headed to the country. He says they are anticipating repatriating nearly 916 Haitians by the end of the week, and that they're being very aggressive in this. He says that it's all contingent on whether they're able to take 1 or 2 planes out of the fleet of Bahamas Air to repatriate, and whether they can get the cooperation of the United States in terms of providing with a carrier. He says the government anticipates that repatriations will start as early as tomorrow. Bell says Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt flew to Inagua, where the majority of the migrants were being held. She was there with another magistrate along with the administrator, and they've commenced court proceedings. Says they're going to be processing the undocumented migrants very quickly. In other news, Prime Minister Philip Davis says the government will have to determine whether its examination of the Minutes administration's spending during the COVID pandemic warrants a commission of inquiry. He says they're going to be looking into this. He said, quote, whether it requires the high level of a commission of inquiry, that will only be decided upon when we see where we are with the preliminary overview of the economy. He says the Bahamas is, of course, the Bahamas has been in a state of emergency since the COVID-19 pandemic started in March 2020. That state of emergency, which was declared by the Governor General, empowered the Prime Minister as competent authority to impose lockdowns and restrictions and curfews to curb the spread of the virus. Former Minister of Public Service Brent Roll defending the decision to promote certain public officers in the weeks leading up to the September 16th election. insisting the promotions were not political and the timing was instead the result of a moratorium that existed previously. He says again, it wasn't politics-driven. On Sunday, Foreign Affairs Minister and Public Service Minister Fred Mitchell said the government has halted all promotions approved in the public service and at public corporations in the last few weeks. Mitchell said Cabinet will review those promotions, but Roll says the timing was just coincidental. Meanwhile, Bahamas Public Service Union President Kimsley Ferguson says the government should follow through with the promotions of deserving public servants. He says they should not have their advancement placed on hold. He says that they've worked extremely hard and had a high caseload, and that they are entitled to these promotions. Overseas, Japan's government announcing today that the coronavirus state of emergency will end this week to help rejuvenate the economy as infections slow. The Prime Minister there is saying the emergency will end Thursday and virus restrictions will be eased gradually in order to resume daily lives despite the presence of the virus. He said the government will create more temporary COVID-19 treatment facilities and continue vaccinations to prepare for any future resurgence. Government officials also instituting other plans such as vaccine passports and virus tests. With the lifting, Japan will be free of emergency requirements for the first time in more than 6 months. Japan's current state of emergency, declared in April, was repeatedly extended and expanded. Despite public wariness and frustration over the measures, Japan has managed to avoid the more restrictive lockdowns imposed elsewhere, while recording about 1.69 million cases and 17,500 deaths from COVID-19. The emergency has mainly involved requests for restaurants and bars to reduce their hours and not serve alcohol. Governors in Tokyo, Osaka, Hyogo, and Kyoto have said they plan to keep those requests in place while closely monitoring the virus situation. And North Korea fired a short-range missile into the sea today at nearly the same moment its UN diplomat was decrying the U.S.'s hostile policy against it, in an apparent return to its pattern of mixing weapons displays with peace overtures to rest outside concessions. The launch, its third round of weapons firings this month, came only 3 days after North Korea repeated its offer for conditional talks with South Korea. Some experts say the latest missile launch was likely meant to test how South Korea would respond, as North Korea needs Seoul to persuade Washington to ease economic sanctions and make other concessions. In sports, for the second time in 3 years, missing last year because of the time taken off over concerns of the coronavirus pandemic, Bahamian Jonquil J.J. Jones is a top 5 finisher for the Women's National Basketball Association Defensive Player of the Year award. Jones, who tied a career high in steals at 1.3 per game and added 1.3 blocks per game, finished tied for third for Defensive Player of the Year for the second time, and also secured her second first-team selection on the WNBA All-Defensive Team. Jones recently won the Peak Performer Award for rebounds for the third time in her career and was unanimously selected as the Associated Press's WNBA Player of the Year. Many believe it's a prelude of what's to come. The Bahamian women's professional basketball player is the front-runner for the WNBA MVP, which would be an historic accomplishment for a Bahamian athlete. No other Bahamian athlete has ever won an MVP award in a major professional sports organization. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NFL, Dak Prescott running toward the tunnel, raising his arms to the fans and tossing them souvenirs after the Dallas Cowboys manhandled the Philadelphia Eagles in prime time. The scene a stark contrast to almost a year earlier when the star quarterback was in tears as he rode on a cart through the same spot after a gruesome ankle injury that ended his season. Prescott threw for 3 touchdowns in his first home game since the injury. Trevon Diggs returned an interception 59 yards for a score, and the Cowboys beat the Eagles 41-21 in Monday Night Football action. The Eagles are now 1-2 so far this season. The Cowboys 2-1. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a frontal trough near the central Bahamas that will continue to generate pockets of unsettled weather across portions of the area as it weakens. Elsewhere, a weak high-pressure system north of the islands will support mostly stable conditions across the northwest Bahamas. Boaters in the central and southeastern islands should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents and waterspout activity. For the northwest Bahamas today, look for partly to mostly sunny and very warm conditions with the chance of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms. Mostly fair and warm with a few possible stray showers or an isolated thunderstorm tonight. Boaters can expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, but gusty at times over open waters. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but higher in gusts. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness and hot conditions expected, with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Smoke-craft should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Winds east-northeast to east-southeast at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times, seas 2 to 4 feet. Temperatures today getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. The heat index not in the triple digits, but near, at 96 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius. Overnight lows getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a quick break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
For 38 years, Strachan Commercial Pest Services has provided trained certified technicians while using environmentally safe industry-standard products. Pests can devastate your business. Together, we will ensure adequate sanitation standards and safe pest exclusion methods. Uncontrolled pest problems lead to significant financial loss due to food contamination, business disruption, and stock waste. Strachan provides detailed solutions protecting your business and reputation. Strachan, #1 in pest control services.
Custom Computers is proud to announce the opening of its newest know-how store in Caves Village. It's never been more convenient to shop for your favorite electronics and computer accessories. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, we carry all the latest gadgets and tech solutions that make life easy with free delivery to businesses. Visit Custom Computers at Patton Street, Cable Beach, and now the Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance. Find tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us morningblend@nasguard.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up, more weather and traffic. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with BPSU President Kimsley Ferguson about these promotions and about some of the challenges some members of his unions having. as we've been talking about reform in the public service as well, get his views on that. Then we've got another drawing of the Bahamas vaccination COVID raffle just before our 9 o'clock break for news. And then in our 9 o'clock hour, Morning Blend Business, we're talking about Junkanoo and whether we are going to have a Junkanoo season at all. Just a few months away from Boxing Day. What can we expect? That's coming up. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. We've got Don Sargent with us. Don? We have Don? Yep, we're going to get that sorted out. All right, so let's get started with what's in the news. In the news, the big headline in the National Guardian, on alert for more Haitian migrants. Had nearly 1,000 show up in the country in the last few days, and more likely on the way, according to the intelligence, according to the Minister of Immigration. What are we going to do? Take a listen to what's happening, what the ministry is saying now, and what they hope to be doing over the next few days. Take a listen to this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
We have to get them back home. There are not only men, there are women and children that we have to get back home. And we intend to use all of our resources, all of our channels through diplomatic means to make sure that happen as quickly as possible.
3 interdictions resulting in the apprehension of over 900 illegal Haitian migrants over the last 4 days. Immigration Minister Keith Bell revealing that the latest incident occurred just last evening with 144 migrants caught near Flamingo Key. That number includes 129 males, 29 females, with the youngest being only 2 years old.
Particularly in respect to health, we know that we're in a COVID environment. There was a number of doctors and nurses that were flown in, and they would have conducted a number of tests in respect to not just COVID, but all of the diseases, including tuberculosis. And to date, I can report that there is no indication that there is any concern at this time.
Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt is on the island arraigning the migrants, and repatriation is expected to begin Wednesday. But with this amount of activity and hundreds of migrants on the island, residents have raised concerns. There have also been reports of government searching for facilities to house these individuals before they are repatriated.
We had to ensure that we didn't spark an international incident. And even apart from that, as a Christian nation, we had an obligation to ensure that these people are properly housed, they're properly fed, they eat, and they have proper bathroom facilities. And so we were under an obligation to find a place immediately. And so we had to go into the community.
Bell confirmed that eventually the Universal Declaration Church allowed use of its church hall. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper was on Inagua over the weekend and addressed a portion of those migrants.
We want you to know that you have landed in the Bahamas illegally. And therefore, we will help you, we will process you to return back to your home.
Also involved, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell.
Well, simply to expedite the migrants going back home, because there's a humanitarian crisis that could ensue in Inagua if that isn't dealt with quickly.
Haiti has been in a state of unrest for months now, leaving its citizens fleeing for nearby territories and recently making international headlines arriving in Texas. Bell says while the government is sympathetic with the people of Haiti, there is no talk of potentially allowing those individuals who enter illegally to stay. He said government must uphold the law when it comes to how a person enters the country.
If you enter a country illegally, there's a right way and a wrong way. And I think that we have to be very firm and very fair. If you enter our country illegally, then we have to ensure that our laws take effect. We have to turn you back. We have to take you back where you come from. There can be no compromise in respect to that.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
All right, we've got Don with us now. Don, good morning.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, hope all is well. So it continues as predicted. Many figured that this was going to happen with all the turmoil we've seen in Haiti recently, especially with the assassination of the president and with the earthquake and with just always, it seems, a major issue. And this is quite an influx here. And as we see, many countries in the region experiencing similar things as thousands are trying to get out of there. But more are coming just as we prepare to send these back. What do we do? What do we do? This is the age-old question. We've been asking this for decades. What can be done? If you have any answers, give us a call. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. You know, this has been very controversial in the U.S. Many were appalled by what they saw on the Texas border, and many were calling for the government to have more compassion to allow these migrants to stay. But a very different situation for the Bahamas. And we heard in another report yesterday the Inagua residents feeling overwhelmed that the number of people who came in that were there on the island matched the number of residents on the island, and how easy they could be overwhelmed. So fears like that, and just, of course, we know we are struggling here in many ways. And just at this time, especially during the pandemic, after Dorian, so much happening, so many people still not working, there's absolutely no way that we could support an influx like this. But people will say, how could you send people back to a situation like that? It is unconscionable. It is a nightmare. Where is the humanity? But we can ask the same thing here, I'm sure. So, what are your views? What do we do? Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
This is Dawn on the phone.
Yes.
How you guys doing?
Well, we are here.
I mean, Dwight, I don't think I'm the only one watching the world saying that, they're finding every means to try and exit the country that just was hit with an earthquake, had an assassination of their president, basically crisis before the second earthquake, So I don't know. I think I'm a man over 40, and Haitians been, looking for a better way and leaving that island and then sailing to the Bahamas, So I think, our immigration policy is obviously one of our, problems is with migrants coming out of Haiti. We know that. And, we know it can happen. It can happen. Whether it's a slow period or it's and based on the earthquake, we should have expected an influx of illegal migrants. I don't get that. I don't get why we don't have. I think they have the OTBAT facility down in Inagua. I think with the United States and Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, they should have a base down there somehow. But we should have some type of refugees thing, detention center set up on the southern side of the country. That should be something that we implement. It should be something set up that we know we have immigrants coming, and if we can't send them back, we can house them.
Wait, for how long? For how long?
It isn't a matter of fact of how long. It's that you got 900 illegal immigrants coming. You can't get them out there in a day or two. So it has to be where you have a refugee set up down there so that you could receive them. Because see what's happening there now. You got more refugees on the ground than you got citizens living in Inagua.
A temporary housing facility. That's
you have to have it.
Okay.
And in that southern part of the island, in the country.
But only until you are able to repatriate.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's better to have it down there where you could monitor the situation and get them because if they get into Nassau, they could disappear, and where you have more population. So the southern part of the Bahamas, places like Ragged Island or Inagua, where where we could house defense. I mean, you have all of these defense force officers. I feel that a lot of people don't want to leave this country, don't want to leave this island, go on these islands. But when you sign up for these type of active duty, that's supposed to be a part of your what you sign up for. Even down to illegal immigrants leaving Haiti, get it into Brazil, where they don't have visas to get into the Darien Gap to cross that 60-mile journey to get into Mexico. They're moving. They're moving around and just for a better way. And we can't support them, but they're moving, Dwight. And so we have to have the resources and things in place to receive them. So once we receive them, then we can send them back, because we have this system in place. Can't be where you 500 illegal immigrants come and you scrambling around trying to find housing and all of these stuff. And you know that this is a decades and decades and decades old problem, man. And that's what drives me crazy, is that we simple. I wouldn't call it simple because you don't know the working things in these ministries, but this issue has been going on too long for us not to have something set up in the southern part of this country, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Interesting points. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Continue to call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
What do you think, Dwight?
That's a crazy question. I don't. It's really difficult. I get what the caller was saying there. That's temporary, but I think the cost will be a big thing. But it might be the same thing to have to fly everybody down there to do all of this, as opposed to having a setup there or something, so that, because you expect this to happen, and unfortunately. But be ready at all times for it, and a smoother process so that you don't have to scramble, as it does seem, scrambling, even though we knew this was likely to happen. So I do get his point there, but the cost of keeping that going. But you might be able to keep some people employed as well. So I don't know. We'll get to those calls in just a bit. Let me read a few of these. Someone says here, the money is being sent from Nassau by so-called Bahamian Haitians. You can't stop it. Can't stop what? That? No, but that's not your business. If that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. So what? Anyway, the only way to catch the captain is to jail everyone, which will not be allowed by the Bleeding Hearts. We are finished. Nothing can stop this. Well, okay. While Bahamians have to pay for COVID tests, over 1,000 Haitians got free COVID tests in the Bahamas. Foreigners, but that's ridiculous. Does that make sense to you? We're trying to prevent a further catastrophe. Come on. This one here. What can be done? We can implement policy that accepts our African people to build this nation, just as the U.S. did to accept the European people. Wow.
I don't think it's an apples to apples situation. But I get their point.
No, you can't get their point. That sounds great.
It's not apples to apples.
Sounds great, but we're not set up at all. And the policy is going to take a long time for us to come up, right? And we do need to grow this population. Absolutely. But it can't be like this. We need the best in the world. We need the specialized skills, not just anybody. We can't. Not at this point. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. We're going to have chaos. We absolutely need to grow this population, but through legal means and through a very strategic manner. But that sounds very nice. Very nice, but okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Ben. It's really, really a concerned situation, particularly if you were to send money through someone that you trust, allegedly, to give to someone else in Haiti, or aid or whatever. chances are it's going to be piecemeal up and distributed based on how the person who you give it to feels or how they give it to feels. So it's not necessarily always that when you send money, even though you're sending it to a particular individual, I mean, the transit concern doesn't guarantee you get it all. And you know, it's sad when you see that. Is it possible to move all those people who are sitting right on the tectonic plates, the epicenter, where when there's an earthquake, you know a lot of people are going, can't you just move them further north so that they could just feel tremors and not the real impact? Because they're sitting right on two plates, right in the middle. I don't know who did that, but that was really
Move them for how long? You mean?
Well, no, they have to be permanently moved away from the epicenter.
Can we just move a bunch of people?
No,
in the
not
Bahamas?
we.
No,
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I'm
saying.
just asking if we in the Bahamas can just move a bunch of people to another place like that.
Well, there's room to move them in Haiti.
Well, there certainly is, but and there's room here too. But can we do it?
No.
Oh.
Well, we have to be, you know, could we continue to just doing this cycle?
Well,
and then also telling them when they get here, you know, you back. Well, listen, you better say something sweeter like, you know, we're going to take good care of you. We're going to put you on a boat and send you somewhere safe. And then when you end up in Haiti, well, that's just happens. But you can't be telling them that because there's going to be mutiny soon.
Well, I think they
Right?
know. I'm sure they do know. But
yeah. Well, say nice things to them, encourage them, and speak positive to those people who just, you know, they're suffering. Even when they get here, they don't know who they are anymore because of what they went through. You have to uplift their spirits and don't threaten them to take them back right away.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, okay. I'm pretty sure they know the drill. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all.
Hi, good morning.
All right. You know, our Prime Minister went to the UN the other day, you know, and didn't advocate for the plight of the Haitians and issues that the Bahamas face with it. You see, so that was an opportune time, you know. Just,
It's happened before, and we are where we are right now.
right, but you know, this, I mean, like now,
And we have a lot of our own issues that he
know,
needed to make a case for.
Right, but now that the issue is here now, you know, how do we deal with it? Right? Someone talk about refugee camps. Refugee camp is not a structure, a building. Refugee camps are tents, you know. And I say that what we need to do is do some farming with the Haitians in any island that's conducive to it. The largest island we have there is Inagua. I mean, not Inagua, Andres. They come to Andres. You know, Haitians are human. They are human beings. You know, and we like to talk about growing the economy, legal immigration, illegal immigration. You know what I'm saying? Like the poor immigrant are the ones who are discriminated upon, same as we discriminate upon the poor Bahamians. You know, so you know we got to get with it, man. You know, and stop being duplicitous. Saying like you know, and see, I hate to say this, you know, but people are afraid to speak the truth to power. We have our politicians pandering to the Haitian community, right? They go on in the Haitian community and say that they are one of them, that they are of Haitian descent too. So all of that plays a part, you know. So I mean, I no problem in the same, like they go to these United Nations. And like the president, the prime minister of Barbados, you see how she dealt with that. She dwelt on it. You have to deal with the situations that the Cuban people face, the Haitian people face, but not our prime minister.
I think you're being extremely unfair. You're being extremely unfair. Everybody in the world knows about Haiti. Yeah, they all know this. They all know this.
Affect the most, right? Doesn't it affect the Bahamas the most?
But we've had prime ministers talk about it before. We've had many people talk about it before.
Stop?
No one's stopping, but he had other issues that he had to deal with facing this country as well.
Change. Okay, same way with climate
There will
change.
be nothing for the Haitians to come here to if we ignore the climate change issue. It's huge.
Well, same way. If we ignore the Haitian issue, what you think? You know,
he's not doing that. Nobody was doing
so
that.
how do we help the Haitians?
I don't know, but I mean,
You
again,
stop them from
the
coming here?
U.S. and France and all these countries know very well.
Nature. These people are in pain. These people are suffering. They young. What you think they're gonna do?
We all know this.
Right. So we gotta help them. So how best way for us to help them is through diplomatic channels. If we're not prepared to give them jobs, to help, the right jobs to help us at the same time.
But how many? We can't. How many? What are you talking? How many? Everyone that comes? Well, what are you saying?
Like I say, we discriminate the poor Haitians, and we want to invite the professionals. That's not right, man.
Is it not right? I mean, nobody's calling for poor Bahamians to come to their country. Nobody wants it. So, I mean, what? We need skilled individuals. We need Bahamians to be skilled. We need everybody to be skilled. We don't need, I'm sorry, we don't need a bunch of poor people. No. That sounds horrible, yes. But it's the truth.
I mean, and it's hard to make a case, especially now with unemployment where it is, and as expensive as it is to live in this country for a lot of Bahamians, and as horrible of a fiscal position that we're in, to make a case for it. Again, I get the humanitarian problem, but we do not, in any capacity, have the capacity to even begin to scratch the surface on this essentially crisis, right? Because Haiti has a population of what, like 11 million people accounted for, that is. And Bahamas is like just under 400,000.
A small town. A small town in Haiti. The Bahamas is a small town in Haiti.
Yeah, so listen, I get it. I get the humanitarian crisis. Sure, we can advocate on the diplomatic channels. I don't think it's really going to do anything because the United States and France do not care in the slightest. It's a situation we've been dealing with for decades. The best we can do is try to do. I'm fortunate to say the only thing I would say we should try to avoid some of the abuses we've had in the past in the detention center. And I'm saying this purely from an economic standpoint because, one, it doesn't make any sense because it loses us money because you end up in these court cases. We lose millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't make any sense. Let's try to avoid those sorts of situations. But the sad reality is the Bahamas doesn't even have the capacity to deal with its own citizens, let alone 11 million Haitians. So it is an unfortunate set of circumstances, but we're in a struggling situation too. Absolutely. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Here's a text. We'll get to those calls in a second. This one says, how about locking up the Bahamians involved? They're being cloaked just like the smugglers, like gun smugglers. This country is too slack. Many of this country's problems will be solved when we find out who is paying for these elections. What? Where'd that come from? Elections? Okay. Well, that's true, but in this? Oh, okay. Can the Haitian government patrol those seaports in Haiti? This is ridiculous. You know the answer. Okay. So
yeah, you really know the answer.
It's chaos. Stop. This is, come on. It's been decades. No government can handle these illegal Haitian immigrants. Their population is over 11 million people compared to our 400,000. We need help from other countries. It's just too much for a small country like the Bahamas to handle. Dwight, it's appalling that certain neighbors can fight decades-long wars in countries thousands of miles away, spending trillions while neglecting a festering crisis right on their doorstep. Well, that is a very interesting point. Very interesting point. But, there's always a reason they fight those wars.
They also contributed to, so like we didn't contribute to this at all, but it's like the United States had. Anyway, they don't care. Just throwing that out there.
I'm sure if there were oil or diamonds left, they would certainly. Anyway, okay. The question is, what should we do? Callers need to answer that question. Stop repeating what we know. What should we do? Don't make a statement. We need an answer, period. I don't think anybody has the answer. That's the problem. What do you do?
I'm curious. I've always wanted this question, right? Because I know it can be costly. Because I remember in the past, I think it was the last Christie administration, we had another huge influx of persons from Haiti. And then they had the whole, clamp down on illegal immigration versus the shanty towns. Some of the shanty towns burned down. We had lots and lots and lots of deportations. And I remember a lot of that budget being exhausted before, I think, a few months into the fiscal year. And all sorts of wonky things were happening. And I'm really curious about this situation. Like, is there even sufficient budget to deal with this crisis in the first place? And like, what are our options here financially? Like, if we're doing with 900, that's the ones that we caught. This isn't going to slow down, Dwight. It's, if anything, is going to accelerate. So, like, what kind of situation does this put us in? And I'm very curious as to, the cost associated with this and how sustainable is that for us.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Absolutely. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
This is Strachan voice, along with you all, brothers. What I want to say, right? First, I want to ask the question: who are we building this country for? Who are we supposed to be building this country for? You see, nobody that's in authority are thinking right. Okay? The UN, I like your last text, of course, Dwight. That last text are right on it. You see, you should not be encouraging in a diplomatic way those people to be coming to our country. And know this is a small country. Know we are poor people. Know we are suffering ourselves. The thing is, you always sign on to the UN. You got a voice there. Take it to the UN. Okay? We are obligated to take care of that's our objective, to take care of our people. Okay? So start thinking and stop let your vocabulary being immature and trying to kill the Bahamian people. We are building this country. We are trying to build this country for the Bahamian people. And everybody in the world has to know that and accept that. And everybody, those people with having war, they want to take over. They want the might and the goal of other countries. We trying to build our country for our people. And we shouldn't let anybody come here, I don't care who they are, and try to dominate us. Be mad. First thing when they come here, some of them just call us sissies.
What are you talking about? Okay.
I am talking.
Okay. Oh, my Lord. What? Anyway, hey, little things. When I say these things, people look at me like I'm crazy. They send me stupid messages. I'm telling you now, we've got to show. We've said this before. It's happened. You go to the UN. Everybody knows the crisis in Haiti. It's been happening for decades. Right? You see what's happening. A little bit of aid here and there, and then it just stops. And it continues, and it gets worse. There's another crisis. Bam. Cycle continues. Little things. France really needs to be held to account for what it's done. All right? I've said it before. We need to really consider, and everybody goes, oh my gosh, but we need to consider some sort of boycott blacklist of France until they pay back some of that money that they got from Haiti. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, read up on it. This country was doomed to fail from the very beginning. Right? But that needs to happen. We need the people in this part of the world, the same texter who talked about taking in our African brethren. Yeah, we need all of the African brethren in the Western Hemisphere and in Africa and everywhere else, and not just the African brethren, everybody to support this, especially when it comes to the Olympics. Make a statement that we need to. They love to place us on blacklists and boycott us and whatever, but we need to do the same until people get the message that France needs to be held to account. That is one small way we can do this, and especially with the Olympics. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but the athletes have worked so hard, they don't deserve this. Well, when they come home to situations like this, what does that mean? What will those medals mean? These are little ways. If we can get the people of this side of the world to support that, it would send a statement. The media is not paying much attention until there is an earthquake or a hurricane. Otherwise, the challenges in Haiti, for the most part, are ignored. But that's one way we can get it out there. All right? Talking to the UN, you see what that does. But if they know that there's a whole bunch of people in the Western world who are displeased with what France has done, and the U.S. as well, I don't know how you're going to do that one, but something. Think along those lines. You writing and complaining to the UN, my God. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. All right, let's take the other one. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Dawn.
He can hear you.
Yeah. Morning, yeah. Morning, Dwight and Don. This situation, like you and I and everybody know, right? This ain't nothing new to us, right? This really ain't nothing new to us, right? And like you said a while ago, when it comes, the only thing we could do as a nation, as a people, right, is to boycott some of the things that anything down, possibly everything with dealing with France. But we can't leave out America, because America and France have their foot on Haiti, in my view, right? You have the United Nations over there now, been over there for a while. Their beliefs, they have stations over there, so the world knows what's going on in Haiti, right? But it's appears that the United Nations and their beliefs over there is only to protect the continued pillaging and plundering of Haiti, because ain't nothing really changing for the people, despite their presence. But the continuations of the mining in Haiti continue, right? And they ain't being mined by Black Haitians. They being mined by Americans and French people, right? So there's nothing we could really do. But what we could do as a nation possibly is just try to mind our borders. But the Haitians, they've been with us all our life, right, as a people. But we can't. There's no way the Bahamas will ever be able to, support. I mean, when I say support, take on the responsibility of Haiti, right? But we have to support Haiti to the point that we need until they could possibly get back up on their feet in any which way we can. But it can't be by mass, people coming into the Bahamas looking for a better way of life.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna be the way for the Bahamas.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And let's see if we can squeeze in that call before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Good morning. Caller, good morning. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Okay. All right. Let's read some of these messages before we go. It's worrisome that we pay such particular attention to repatriating illegal Haitians that it can cause 3 cabinet ministers to travel to Nagua to address the situation. However, the economy is on a tenuous and slippery slope at best, and when those discussions are being had, we seemingly pay very little attention. I don't know where you are, texter, but that is absolutely incorrect what you're saying. Anyway, they go on to say, we clearly major in the minor not to minimize the challenges of illegal... Oh, come on. Come on. You just heard what that previous caller said about how, oh my goodness, the Prime Minister didn't talk about Haiti. He's only talking about what's happening in the Bahamas. So everybody's seeing things the way they want to. That's crazy what you're saying. And we've got 400 cabinet ministers right now. So, I mean, we're going to be fine if 3 go down there to deal with this crisis. Please, let's stop. Let's stop.
Right. Seriously.
What? Oh, sorry, 500? Oh, okay.
Everybody's a cabinet minister, man.
Well. So I mean, come on, 3. Yeah.
We can spare a couple of them.
Yeah, it's not. Come on. This one says here, you want professionals? Haitians are professional farmers. We need most to feed ourselves. China grew because of cheap domestic labor, yes, and make it make sense. Remember, Jesus said, what you do for the least of the people, you do to him. The white man been deporting Haitians before majority rule. We should end it. Hey, we've got hundreds of Bahamians. Take a drive through the inner cities in New Providence and see how many people just sitting around all day long,
unemployed,
doing nothing. So what are you saying? We'd love to help. We'd love it.
Remember when Dominica was in a situation after the hurricane and so many Bahamians took to social media and the radio shows lambasting the previous administration's decision to bring any of them to the Bahamas just for a certain period of time? This outrage. How could you do this? And there's so much suffering happening here. We gave them money as well. And Bahamians said the same thing. So I'm not like this. We've been here before, man. Like you said, like it's been decades now. We had not the capacity then. We don't have the capacity now. So I don't know what the answer is in this situation, actually.
No. Let's take a break. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Coronavirus update. I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. New York City teachers who were fighting COVID vaccine requirements plan to go to the Supreme Court. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn.
Lawyers representing teachers in the Big Apple who don't want to be forced to get a COVID vaccine say they'll be asking the U.S. Supreme Court to rule on the mandate. A federal appeals court Monday cleared the way for New York City to impose the vaccine requirement, which will now go into effect for teachers Friday. Statewide, Governor Kathy Hochul is standing tough on vaccine requirements for healthcare workers, readying to hire replacements.
I would have much rather it just been voluntary, but if I have to take steps to protect the people in terms of making sure I have replacements if necessary, I need to take those steps now.
I'm Jackie Quinn.
Japan is announcing that its COVID state of emergency will end this week as infections slow. I'm Rita Foley.
Got your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, Mile Butler Highway, heavy traffic northbound and just north of Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Gladstone Road looking a little bit better for you, but still heavy traffic northbound north of Fire Trail up to JFK Drive. Over on Blue Hill Road, the usual story. It is heavy traffic north of Soldier Road, the northbound lanes to Independence Drive. And we've got some building traffic from St. Vincent up to just north of Carmichael Road. Carmichael seeing some building traffic eastbound to Blue Hill Road as well. Further south on Blue Hill, we've got heavy traffic at the intersection with Zion Boulevard and Cowpen Road. Elsewhere, building traffic on East Street, especially near the intersection with Soldier Road and north of Soldier Road, the northbound lanes to the roundabout with Independence Drive and East-West Highway, and north of that to Robinson Road. And we've got some heavy traffic on Prince Charles Drive, especially near Fox Hill Road and Beatrice Avenue. And further up, Robinson and Soldier and Robinson Old Trail and the intersection with East-West Highway, Robinson and Marathon Road. Soldier Road, Bernard Road, Wolf Road, and Village Road, that intersection looking busy for you this morning as well. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Hurricane season is here. If you're not prepared, it can really turn your life upside down. Fortunately, there's CG Atlantic General. Our people are here ready to assist at a moment's notice, with protection like alternative accommodation for those who are displaced due to a storm. It's our priority to make sure you have what you need when you need it most. So when your life gets turned upside down, we can help to turn it around. CG Atlantic General like that. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Contact a CG Atlantic General broker today.
Be prepared for the rainy season with an RBC loan to fund your rainy season essentials. For hurricane shutters, generators, solar power systems, or general home repair, RBC offers a range of flexible and competitive financing solutions. Let us help you get started at rbc.com/Caribbean/get-a-loan. Special conditions apply. Reimagine your rainy season readiness with RBC financing.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-19...
Have you heard about the COVID vaccine raffle? If you are vaccinated against COVID-19, you can enter to win amazing prizes. like food store gift certificates, hotel stays, beach excursions, and so much more. Even if you are previously vaccinated, you can still enter to win. The COVID vaccine is free, safe, and protects you from severe COVID-19 infections. Don't delay. Get vaccinated today and enter to win. Visit www.vaxbahamas.com to register.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy up to 150 megabits per second plus 157 TV channels and unlimited home phone minutes for only $99.99.
Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network. Conditions apply.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-479. 21, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a frontal trough near the central Bahamas that will continue to generate pockets of unsettled weather across portions of the area as it weakens. Elsewhere, a weak high-pressure system north of the islands will support mostly stable conditions across the northwestern Bahamas today. For the Northwest Islands, look for partly to mostly sunny and very warm conditions with a chance of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms. Mostly fair and warm with a few possible stray showers or an isolated thunderstorm tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness and hot conditions expected with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Smorecast should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas, ain't or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Temperature-wise today, we're looking at highs getting up to 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius, but the heat index, thankfully not in the triple digits, expected to get up to around 96 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius. That's still pretty warm, though. And overnight low is going to be getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. Will dominate weather through midweek. Meanwhile, Hurricane Sam, well east to us, should still generate swells from Wednesday through Saturday as it passes east of the islands. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, look for partly sunny and very warm conditions with a chance of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms mainly across the central and southeast Bahamas. Thursday, partly cloudy and warm with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. In the tropics, we've got Hurricane Sam, several hundred miles east of Bermuda, posing no threat to the Bahamas at this time on this projected path, but again, just possible sea swells by tomorrow through the weekend. We're watching three other areas, though. We've got a well-defined low-pressure system associated with the remnants of Peter, located a few hundred miles east of Bermuda. This system has a medium chance of about 50% of tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. There's also a broad area of low pressure several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. That's producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The system has a high chance, about 90% chance, through the next 5 days. Then there's a tropical wave just offshore of the west coast of Africa that continues to produce a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The system has a high chance, about 90% chance as well, of tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. So we're still watching the active tropics, but that's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And another check of your traffic for this morning brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Milo Butler Highway, still the hot spot for you this morning. Heavy traffic from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonique Williams Darling Highway, the northbound lanes, even extending well south of Fire Trail, and eastbound on Fire Trail backed up to that roundabout with Milo Butler Highway. So heavy traffic there, and that's spilling over into Tonique Williams Darling Highway as well, both directions. Still a better choice, but heavy traffic in the northbound lane for you on your way to JFK Drive. Blue Hill Road, we're seeing the traffic not looking so bad north of Soldier Road, the northbound lanes there. Where the issue is on Independence Drive. It's backed up westbound lanes there toward that roundabout. Heavy traffic there. You might want to avoid that if you can. Avoid Independence Drive. Eastbound on Independence also busy to the roundabout with East Street. Further south on Blue Hill Road between St. Vincent and Carmichael Road, you're going to be seeing the heavy traffic both directions, but mainly northbound. And then East Street is busy at the intersection with Robinson Road and south of the East-West Highway roundabout. Both directions, but mainly northbound. And then further south, East Street and Soldier Road busy at this time. Soldier Road is also busy as you get closer to Windsor Place, so eastbound there looking congested for you. And as you get near Old Trail Road, near Nassau Christian Academy. So that's a busy area that you might want to avoid as well. Then in eastern New Providence, the intersections, major intersections along Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road, and then Marathon Road northbound looking busy, and Mackey Street, mainly northbound, pockets there. So a lot happening out there. Keep your patience, and hopefully you'll enjoy your commute. You'll be in your car for a while. But that's your real traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, Banking Reimagined.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Now that your age is not everything. Now that your kids call you for advice. Now that you can achieve anything you set your mind to, why stop? Nourish your strength and energy with Ensure. Ensure provides protein, antioxidants, key vitamins and minerals to support your immune system. Now that it's your moment to enjoy your vitality, why stop? Your life, your health, your Ensure.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy up to 150 megabits per second plus 157 TV channels and unlimited home phone minutes for only $99.99.
Best best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network. Conditions apply.
At Wendy's, our food is made to make you crave. Crave our all-new Big Bacon Cheddar Burger. This melt-in-your-mouth sandwich is what cheesy bacon dreams are made of. It starts with your choice of fresh, never-frozen beef or a chicken patty topped with American cheese, apple with smoked bacon, bacon jam, onion tanglers, and creamy cheddar cheese spread on an all-toasted cheddar bun. Available for a limited time only. Stop in today for that flavor you crave. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Hurricane season is here. If you're not prepared, it can really turn your life upside down. Fortunately, there's CG Atlantic General. Our people are here ready to assist at a moment's notice, with protection like alternative accommodation for those who are displaced due to a storm. It's our priority to make sure you have what you need when you need it most. So when your life gets turned upside down, we can help to turn it around. CG Atlantic General. Good like that. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Contact a CG Atlantic General broker today.
Be prepared for the rainy season with an RBC loan to fund your rainy season essentials. For hurricane shutters, generators, solar power systems, or general home repair, RBC offers a range of flexible financing solutions. Let us help you get started at rbc.com/Caribbean/get-a-loan. Special conditions apply. Reimagine your rainy season readiness with RBC financing.
Have you heard about the COVID vaccine raffle? If you are vaccinated against COVID-19, you can enter to win amazing prizes like food store gift certificates, hotel stays, beach excursions, and so much more. Even if you are previously vaccinated, you can still enter to win. The COVID vaccine is free, safe, and protects you from severe COVID-19 infections. Don't delay. Get vaccinated today and enter to win. Visit www.vaxbahamas.com to register.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Everybody must work. Whoa, work. Everybody must work. Work hard. Cause if you're not working, you gotta be loafing. And if you're not loafing, then you gotta be joking. You must work.
And we're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. Okay, so we're going to change gears. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more to say about the migrant issue throughout the day here on Guardian Radio and as we continue to follow this story over the next few weeks. And we'll get back to that. We want to talk about the other big story that was in the news yesterday, the issue with promotions in the public service, and the reaction that we're getting from everybody on this. I want to play this piece first, and then we will talk to our special guest in studio with us. But take a listen to this Minister of Public Service, Fred Mitchell, saying about it in this report from our Giorgio Bain.
SU President Kingsley Ferguson says deserving public servants shouldn't have their promotions halted as the Davis administration tries to determine if some of those pre-election promotions were political.
Deserving public servants, I don't agree with their advancement being placed on hold.
Last week, a document from the Water and Sewerage Corporation indicated that promotions that went into effect September 1st were rescinded.
My advice is that a very careful review is done and a particular position taken. It is my view that while you may want to review some stuff, it may be in the best interest of the government in the eyes of the Bahamian people to allow what has been processed to go forward.
The BPSU president made it clear that promotions already completed cannot be reversed by the government. He said those up for review haven't been completed. When asked how much time the union is giving the government to complete the review process, Ferguson said this.
From my understanding, it's quite a bit of them. And so I'm not particularly placing a time frame on the government, but I guess depending on how quickly it's done, we'll be able to say what our position is moving forward, whether some stands will be taken to suggest to the government that we are dissatisfied with what their decision was.
According to Ferguson, countless public servants have been in limbo for years and have yet to be regularized. He's urging the government to do right by those longtime employees. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Okay, so that was a different report from I wanted there, but fine. That's Berthany McDermott with the report there. Why even have him in the studio after all of that? He's here in the studio with us, the president of the BPSU, Kingsley Ferguson. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight, and it's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, Bahamas.
All right, so we heard a lot of what you had to say there. That's not quite the report, but the minister was explaining the situation. We did talk about that yesterday as well, about how it came to be like this, and he raised some interesting points about mentioning things like poison pill and whether this was done to influence the election. Do you agree that that is likely what happened here with some of these promotions?
Well, Dwight, let me deal with the process leading up to promotion first. Mm-hmm. There is a process. There are prerequisites in order to be advanced in the public service. Once those requirements are met, the recommendations are forwarded, the files are processed, and they're forwarded from the public service to the Public Service Commission, from the Public Service Commission to the Governor General for his an authorization, and back from Government House to the Commission again, and then back to Public Service, and then to the individual that would have been promoted.
That's quite a lot.
So once you see a promotion has already went through that particular process, there's nothing that anybody can do to rescind that particular promotion. And so, again, my understanding, as I would have had a little brief conversation with the Honorable Minister, Mr. Mitchell, that the promotions that are going to be reviewed are some promotions that have not already been processed. And so they, in actuality, are not promotions, but they're recommendations for promotions, if I'm correct, and I stand to be corrected. And so if that is indeed the case, I want to say that based on the timing that the promotions were processed, it may appear to be political. I read the article, the former Minister of the Public Services response, Mr. Brensel Roll, who indicated that for some 2 years out of the 4 years that the government was in office, there was a moratorium on promotion and hiring. And so if that is being given consideration, from the looks of things, right, it'll appear as if they're political. But the question needs to be asked, are these deserving public servants? Right. And the public servants are really in the midst of what we're facing, in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of the fact that these people can't get the much-deserved increases. And so, again, it really needs to be carefully looked at to ensure that, one, we don't disadvantage deserving people, and two, it's such a puzzling situation because you don't know who is who. You may be bothering with some of your own people.
No, what do you mean by that? You're not talking about there, but bothering with your own people. What does that mean?
Let me ask something. If you're taking a political stance, you don't know whether or not those persons who you may decide you're going to rescind their promotion supported you.
Does it matter? If you feel they're not deserving, does it matter whether they support you?
See, deserving is one thing. You can't get to the point of being processed if you're not recommended for promotion. And so, let me.
But how do you know that wasn't political?
See, again, then it leaves much to be desired in relation to what the mechanisms are leading up to that. And so you can't question the individual. You have to question the process. Okay? And so the process says if you get 3 above average appraisals, and there's a little box that says ready for immediate promotion, you have already qualified, and once the monies are in place and the process is completed, you're promoted. So again, maybe we want to look at the process leading up to things to ensure that the individuals are deserving and no political favor is being handed out to a particular individual.
Is that the official union stance, that you need to look at this process to reevaluate this, to figure out whether this is the right way to do it going forward?
Well, let me say this. The annual appraisal would have been a document that was fashioned by this now administration, which I think is a very, very, very good document. And so what that document does, it in actuality not only assesses the person that's being appraised, but it assesses the person that's doing the appraisal to determine just how competent they are and just how well they know the document. And so, again, it sort of puts this particular exercise to review things in a very, very funny position because the document, in my view, it's that good. So, again, it's my advice. My advice, while you want to err a little bit on the side of caution, my advice is once we have determined that these persons are deserving public servants, man, let the process go through, man.
All right. Do you have any numbers? How many people were up for promotion or have been promoted with your union? And I don't know if you know about
I am not aware of the numbers, but like I said, I had a discourse with the Honorable Minister. And again, the media clip that was being forwarded around with what he said, he indicated to me that it wasn't quite exactly what he wanted to say, and he corrected some things about it. And so, again, he is not of the view that persons who may have been regularized, whether it was last minute or not, he's not in the position, or he is not of the view that persons are going to be sent home. And like I say, it would really, really, really not look good in the eyes of a new administration to take you.
So you're anticipating that everyone's just going to be ushered in?
I am not saying that. And again, Dwight, we want to look at the position of different administrations. Different administrations come in. I think the Honorable Minister mentioned some stuff about political appointments. You know, you were serving at the request of the previous administration. Man, let me tell you something. Do the right thing, man. You know what I mean? While, in my view, our country is too small for such huge, frictional, abrasive politics, we need to take a look at that. But I understand, too, the new administration's position, because you don't want to have people in place that's going to circumvent what it is you need to do on the agenda that you have mapped out to take this country into a new direction. So, all things considered, there is a position that the government is going to have to take. But there are some positions that the government is going to have to give careful thought to before they make decisions. And I think this regularization exercise is one of them. And this promotion exercise is one that really needs to be given careful thought because we don't want to rub people the wrong way.
Well, sometimes you got to do that to get some actions or some changes, right?
Well, yes and no. The public service is, the government is the single largest employer in the country.
Right.
You may not want a particular individual in a position that can affect the policy changes that you maybe want to make. So you can reposition those individuals so that they can maintain their livelihood. We talking here, Dwight, about taking bread out of an individual's mouth. That's not something that you do, by the clip of a finger. That's something that deserves consideration, and you want to be able to substantiate whatever it is that you're doing. So again, this is not something to be taken lightly. Again, once the review is done and it's been determined that all the requisite steps were taken to get persons to where they were, I would really like to know how else we're going to be able to make a determination that would disadvantage those individuals.
Wow. So do you know what's going to happen next? How long will this process take, this review process? Have you been given any indication at all?
No, I haven't. Again, after my discussion with the minister, that it's not going to be something that's going to be held up very long.
Okay.
I've always had a very good working relationship with him. He seems to be a man of his word. And until such time as he shows me different, I'm going to honor him in that regard.
Yep. All right. This interesting text coming in here says, Dwight, thanks so much for discussing this topic. Some government and quasi-government employees, especially the PHA and NIB, have been waiting for our promotions for many years. It's not fair for all of us to be penalized. Some of us have been acting in acting posts for years. This needs to be fixed. Tell Ferguson we expect a timeline to be given. No slapping up with this new government. Oh, my. Well, we hear that all the time. The acting, you've been acting for 5 years. What's that all about? Why does that happen?
Well, again, I want to go back to the fact that there is indeed a process in government and even in quasi-government departments for everything. Persons who find themselves acting for more than 9 months in any given situation, an appraisal should be done on that individual, and that individual should be confirmed.
9 months,
Which is
people
more
almost
than,
9 years.
It's see again, and I let me set my basis here. We had the previous administration. We have a new administration. The issues are still the issues. The union is still the union, and Kingsley Ferguson is still the president. My only concern, it doesn't matter who the government is. My concern is the issues need to be addressed. And so whatever posture is necessary, that's the posture that the union is going to take. Again, granted, this is a new administration that's coming in. The only decent thing would be to do is allow persons to review the environment that they're working in, so that when we make our appeal or we come with our communications asking to meet with you to address particular issues, you would be versed in the concerns that we have.
Yeah.
So it's only fair to do that. And so, slapping up taking place, we gotta give people the chance to sit down in the chair good and read 1 or 2 documents, so that when we say, this is our agenda, we are requesting a meeting with you to address these concerns, they can come with those files and they can give us a proper response.
All right, I want to get back to the promotions in just a bit. We've got quite a few questions here, but I want to talk to you about what we were talking about on this show a few weeks back about the public service. Every time the government changes, or at least in the documents they put out, like the manifesto or blueprint, they talk about reforming the public service. We keep hearing about that and the need for that to happen, but it doesn't seem to quite happen. Where do you stand on this? Where's it done? Lots of people point to the fact that people weren't laid off during what we've been seeing with the economic crisis as a result of the pandemic. I don't know if they understand what would happen if there were to be layoffs in the public service, but many in the country seem to believe that the public service is bloated and needs to be downsized. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'll answer it in the reverse, Dwight. In my view, the public service is not bloated. And that would be a contradiction on both administrations, because if you got a bloated public service, you don't continue to hire people. And in my view, if that was indeed the case and it was bloated, I think one of the first things that we need to do is do a human resource audit so that we can actually determine that fact.
Haven't we done that before? I feel like we've done that many times.
No, we did what you
They've
call...
been talking about it a lot.
We did what was called a compensation study. And the compensation study examined the public service's ability to render service to the Bahamian people. It actually took a look at the compensation in relation to public servants as opposed to the private sector. It touched quite a bit of areas that would, if implemented, would refine the public service and cause it to function the way that it was designed to. And so I disagree that the public service is bloated. I think a proper human resource audit needs to be done, and persons placed in their proper skill sets so that the public service can actually benefit from it, so that the Bahamian people can actually benefit from it. So we may have a plumber, but we may have him carrying out the assignment of a mechanic, and a mechanic may not be needed, but a plumber may be needed. Again, it appears that way too, Dwight, because the government is involving a lot of politics in it. We have a lot of talented men and women in the northern compound at the Ministry of Works. Builders got contractors license, but yet we still hiring outside people to do what these people are capable of, and then we want to come and say public servants don't work. Well, I can't work unless you give me some instructions. So in my view, no, the public service is not bloated. I think we need to do the audit, place people where they need to be placed, so that the people can function in a manner delivering the service, the quality service that Bahamians need.
Too many people on New Providence. Do you think that might be part of the problem as well? We need to distribute people on some other islands?
I don't think there needs to be a distribution. Again, the persons that determine what is in any given area is the government. So when someone comes to apply for a job, if you have the view that the public service is bloated, then you need to say to them, listen, we don't have a vacancy. But again, we're talking about promotions and them being political. I think, in my view, sometimes where it becomes political is in giving the jobs. That's where it becomes political. And so, listen, you're my supporter, you help me campaign, come. I can make sure you're straight. Okay? And both administrations are guilty of it. So you're already in the public service, you get a job, you expect advance. You don't want to reach the pensionable age and you came in as a general service worker and you're leaving as a general service worker. That ain't nothing good for your children to see. So again, we really need to examine our thinking before we make these harsh statements about the public service being bloated. Because if truth be told, the guilty. So these individuals, in my view, who are deserving people who would have been processed, unfortunately, at a time that didn't appear to be very convenient, check the paperwork.
How long do you think it would take to conduct that audit? What would that entail?
The audit? In order to do that particular exercise, we're going to need to look at the demand for certain things in the public service, compiled with whether or not we have the proper complement of individuals in place to meet the particular demands of the public service. I'll give an illustration as to what I mean. A bathroom is malfunctioning. We're going out there to get 3 quotes for a private entity to service a government facilities bathroom. But we have some plumbers down at the Ministry of Works just hanging out underneath the tree, waiting for an assignment to be given. But again, the public is paying twice. And so a time frame to conduct an audit like that, and like I said, the audit was already done because the compensation study tells us whether or not we are bloated. And it didn't indicate that. And the only side of the compensation study that was actually implemented was the service side of it. We didn't evaluate person's salary. There's a plumber making a total different salary from the fellow down in the Ministry of Works, which is more. And so, again, we talk about low morale and all these things. It's because of the unjust and unfair treatment that some people have the view that they're experiencing. Give and take the person that sent you the text about promotion.
Right.
How you could be acting for 9 years? You're the biggest movie star that I've ever seen. You need to be placed in that position substantially. And again, these are some of the issues. We would have forwarded a number of our concerns to the Minister of the Public Service. We're waiting to get an audience so that we can get a response on some of those concerns. If the minister is of the view that the public service is bloated, then give us the data that suggests that.
Yeah.
And then we will put together a working committee and we'll see exactly how best it can be addressed. But I'm going to tell you what I can be looking for. I'm going to be making sure some of them people who 99 and supported this administration or the previous administration don't resurface around here. It does. It's blocking up a certain
that's
area.
been happening.
Yes.
That's been happening.
And it's not allowing the young people to advance.
So when that has happened in the past, what do you all do? I mean, there's nothing you can do?
You know, again, you find out about particular things after the fact. You can take a particular posture on it, but I don't think that helps. But what you're going to find now, Dwight, is the Bahamian workforce has a very high expectation of this particular administration, but their tolerance level is going to be very, very low. And so, based on the experience they had with the previous administration, which was not very union friendly, they're going to be expecting that these concerns are addressed post haste. Remember, you heard what the texter said a while ago? No slapping up.
Right.
They're my bosses.
Wow. All right, let's take this call and then we're going to get to some of these other messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there, caller? I hear something.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
Yeah, man. You always have a good show. Wonderful
Thank you
show.
very much. Thank you.
Listen, man. PLP, F&M, they come and go. But here it is. Your civil servant workers, man, they here to stay. And those that are who qualify, don't try to rebuke them. Allow them to do their job. I don't know how you feel about this, but if a man is qualified to run the police force, allow him to do so. If a fellow isn't qualified for immigration or custom, I'll let him do so because he's a Bahamian. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I'm sure President Ferguson
Don't
agrees with you as
victimize
well.
nobody, man. We all here to stay.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
very much,
thank
caller.
you,
Appreciate
buddy.
it. All right. That's an interesting word. You brought up victimization. Has that been an issue? Have you seen that, especially after governments change?
Well, I can't say in this administration I've seen anything. Like I indicated earlier, Dwight, wisdom suggests that you have an agenda and some policy items that you want to advance. You don't want to victimize persons, but you may need to strategically place somebody else in a particular position. You have the latitude to transfer individuals, to second individuals to different areas without impacting their livelihood. I want to say this, and I was remiss in this, that I think if there is a culprit in this promotion exercise, it's not the people, it's the previous administration. Now, you don't want to beat the public servant for what somebody else did because they did it at a time where it was perceived like it had a motive behind it.
What was the moratorium for that the previous minister mentioned? Do you remember?
Well, again, to be quite frank with you, Dwight, I didn't even know when they lifted the moratorium. Okay? And so certain decisions were made when the...
I know there was an order and edict to cut down on the spending and the hiring so they could save some money on necessary. So I don't know if that's related. Was that related to that?
Well, that was said. Also, the previous minister of the public service indicated that the government was going to withhold increments to assist with being cost effective.
Right.
Well, that wasn't something where the presidents of the various unions came up with a consensus. That was a unilateral decision on the government's side of things. He brought us in a room. He didn't say, okay, let's have a discussion. He said, this is what we're going to do. And see, that particular attitude is something that's going to cause us some serious problem. Now it was time to pay back the monies that you withheld, you want to pay it in installments. You withheld the people money, pay the people all the money one time. We got people over the University of the Bahamas right now. Their increment may be $37. You want to pay them that over a 10-month period, man? Come on, Dwight. Let's make sense.
$37?
Come on, man.
Wow.
See, so...
You're exaggerating. You got to be exaggerating.
Dwight,
here.
when I spoke to the president over at the University of the Bahamas, I told him the people want all their money one time. But again, that particular entity, that premier tertiary institution, who should be leading by example, is having a disregard for the labor laws of this country, and there needs to be an intervention. I'm appealing to the Honorable Glennis Hannah Martin. Visit the University of the Bahamas. We're having too many concerns over there. When they're evaluated at the Department of Labor, we're finding that they're always on the wrong end of the stick. It's going to cause us some problems.
All right, we're running out of time. I just want to read a couple of these messages very quickly. Someone says, tell our union leader that his workers at the Department of Transformation and Digitization need help, please. We need promotions after 5 years. No one is checking for us.
That, Dwight, was brought to my attention. The person, I think, the permanent secretary was responsible for that was Mrs. Ulysses Delancey. I still trying to reach her. Normally she's to answer my call. I believe she's extremely busy now, I think.
I guess. This person says all promotions are justified with at least 3 performance appraisals of the employees. Fred Mitchell is playing politics with people's lives. Some of us have been waiting for the PLP. From the PLP was in power on the last occasion for the promotions, I guess. Wow.
Well, I don't play politics. And see, again, the issue is the issue. Other people may want to politicize. Dealing with an issue, I am of the view that the person sitting on the other side of the table is playing politics. I can be quite frank and I can tell them that. You understand? But until such time as I see that, we're going to deal with the issue. We're going to allow diplomacy to fail, and we're going to make sure that we get some results. Even if it's not the results that our members want to hear, we're going to go back to them and we can say, listen, the government ain't serious. We need to persuade them.
Yeah. This text here, our airport authority employees gained their increments today. Is that supposed to happen today?
Well, that's another scenario. When the government took the position that it was going to withhold increments, it quickly forwarded a communication to the airport authority telling them what posture to take. But I would have spoken to Mr. Cargill and asked, as well as the human resource manager, when are the increments going to be reinstated? I haven't got the response yet. But that, along with a number of other items, the Deputy Prime Minister called. He told me to put something in writing, forward it to him, indicating what those immediate concerns are. That was one of the items that we placed on in that document. It's already been forwarded to him. We're just waiting to get an audience to have those matters addressed.
And this final text here, there honestly needs to be an evaluation of the promotions, but who should review is the big question. Cabinet cannot review civil service promotions. That is simply inappropriate. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Because, and to be honest with you, I'm going to go back to what initially was said, Dwight. Once the criteria has been met, what is the review all about? You met the criteria according to the documents that were presented to public service from the human resource manager. You met the criteria based on the documents that were forwarded from the commission, which goes through it with a fine-tooth comb to ensure that the person is not disadvantaged when their monies are calculated and so forth. It goes to the GG. He put his signature on it. He sent it back. The person awaits their money. There are a lot of people still waiting on their monies.
Yeah.
So, Dwight, it is what it is, and it's going to be a really delicate situation. In my view, leave well enough alone.
Yeah. All right, we're out of time. I need to have you back on the show. So I guess when we find it, when we do learn more about what's going to happen with the promotions, we'll have you back and we'll have a longer discussion about so many things. Because we were critical of your union members who were taking industrial action before the election. We want to get your views on what the purpose was for that and what you achieve with something like that. So when we come back, I want you to address that as well.
Thank you, Dwight, for having us. Good
Thank you
morning,
very much,
Bahamas.
Kinsley Ferguson, for being here this morning. All right, so we're going to do the drawing after the break for news, so stay tuned if you are trying to find if you're the winner for the Bahamas Vaccination COVID raffle. That's coming up after the break, and we're going to be talking Junkanoo with JCNP. Will we have Junkanoo this year? A lot more coming up in Morning Blend Business. Stay tuned. That's all straight ahead. We're going to be back.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Don had to step out. And Don, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. But this morning, we're going to be talking about Junkanoo. Just a few months away from Boxing Day. Will we have a Junkanoo season? We're going to be getting into that with the JCNP in just a bit. But of course, our timing's been a little off this morning, so we're going to be doing that daily now. The drawing for the Bahamas Vaccination COVID raffle, and we're going to pick two more names to win prizes in that. So let's get our special celebration music in. And as we get ready to draw, the two prizes today, a $500 gift certificate to Solomon's. $500 gift certificate to Solomon's. That's pretty decent there. And the second prize will be a case of Heineken. All right, so let's do this. We're going to pick the case of Heineken. The winner of the case of Heineken is Dorleen Sawyer. Dorleen Sawyer, you've won that case of Heineken. Congratulations. If you need someone to help you with that, you can text us. But so congratulations. You'll be hearing from our friends, our partners at the U.S. Embassy about how you can collect your prize. And the $500 gift certificate to Solomon's goes to Kenia Daly. Kenia Daly, Kenea Daly. Congratulations. You've won that gift certificate. Enjoy, and thank you so much for signing up for the Bahamas Vaccination COVID raffle. If you are vaccinated or partially vaccinated here or abroad, wherever, all you have to do is log on to vaxbahamas.com and register, and you could win some fabulous prizes every day. We are drawing names this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Will it be you tomorrow? Sign up, vaxbahamas.com. And congratulations again to Kenia Daly and Dorleen Sawyer. Great stuff. All right, so let's get into it. Junkanoo. Will there be a Junkanoo season this year? We're very pleased to have with us the president of the chair of the JCNP, Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, Dion Miller, back with us. Good morning, Dion Miller. Great to have you with us as always.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas.
Okay, so we've been told early in the year that, if we got vaccinated, we might be able to have Junkanoo. Almost 100,000 people are fully vaccinated. Are we going to have Junkanoo this season?
Dwight, what I can say, Dwight, is that unfortunately, there will not be any traditional Junkanoo parades again this year. When I state traditional, I'm referring to those big, massive parades with thousands of persons lining Bay Street. So unfortunately, due to the pandemic again, that will not happen. What I can update the public as to what is happening is the JCNP, as well as our partners in government and our corporate partners, are at the table currently developing some sort of Junkanoo experience. When I state Junkanoo experience, that can be a virtual experience, that can be an in-person experience, etc. we were making good progress, and then the country had an election, and so that has taken a break for now. We have a new administration in place, and so right now the new minister, Mr. Mario Boleg, is being abreast as to where we are in those discussions, in those planning, and I anticipate that in the next few days we will recommence our discussions and hopefully be able to plan some sort of Junkanoo experience for the Bahamian people.
Okay, you said a lot just now. I want to break down each part of it. You said it might be virtual or in person.
Absolutely.
Right? So what?
Yeah, correct.
Let's talk about what the in person could have or might possibly be like.
So the in person could possibly be like in a bubble scenario. We have several different venues. The National Sports Stadium being one, where we invite our fans that are vaccinated or produce a negative COVID test to come to the sports center to celebrate some sort of Junkanoo experience. We're also looking at a partial route on Bay Street, again, for persons that are vaccinated or negative. So there are several different things that we're looking at. There's also a possibility of developing a Junkanoo float scenario, similar to like a drive-through, like a sort of similar to a drive-through parade. So we have a number of things on the table, which we're trying to hash out now and hopefully get approval on one.
Well, okay. So would that require, if you do something like that, require all of the participants, not just the onlookers, but the participants to be vaccinated as well?
Those details, Dwight, are still being discussed right now. Mm-hmm. So we've put several scenarios in front of the government. One, all participants be vaccinated, or two, participants be vaccinated, or they can produce a negative PCR test on the day of the parade or 3 days prior to parade. So that, like I said, there isn't nothing is finalized yet, but all of these things are fluid, and all of these possibilities are before the government now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't want to make it political, but you did say it, that you were making good progress before the election. Tell us more about that, and then what happened. When did, I don't know if derail is the right word, but when did things change?
Yeah, so I don't think things have changed or things have derailed. We began discussions as early as August with the previous minister, the director of culture, the PS, and all of that team down there. And we took a break 2 weeks prior to election to allow the election process to take place. And like I said, we expect that we can resume in upcoming days. The government may have changed, has changed, but the technical persons in the ministry that were working on developing the product and the plan are still in place. So we still have the same director, same PS, same person with responsibilities for Junkanoo in the country. Mm-hmm. And so I've already had conversations with the new Prime Minister Davis, and he is committed to Junkanoo as well. So we don't anticipate that there will be anything, and I'm becoming in that vein. It's just a matter of letting the minister get, settle in, meet his new team, and then getting back to work.
All right. Now, we all see what's happening in other countries. We see what's happening in the UK and in the USA. They've returned to sporting events. Yes, not as many people in the stands, but they're doing it. Many are going to wonder, with the number of people that are getting vaccinated, still not as high as we'd like to see, why can't we reduce the number of people who can take part and to be in the stands? Why can't we just go in that direction?
Like I said, right, that's a good point, and that is something that we're modeling here as we plan for these parades. So we're working with the seating company to reduce a possible scenario to reduce our seating capacity by as much as 50%. Which will allow proper social distancing and whatnot on the bleachers. And so we're looking at all of those models. We're looking at those protocols and precautions that they're putting in place, and we're trying to incorporate those here in the Bahamas and for our parades. I think what it would come down to is the technical persons in the Ministry of Health. Once they give us a green light, I'm sure we can make it happen. So what we're doing now is we're trying to dot all our I's, cross all our T's, and make sure that we keeping the participants safe, as well as the public who may celebrate these parades. What I can say, Dwight, is that, we had no really sort of celebration last year. And I think all parties concerned are in agreement that we must have some sort of national Junkanoo celebration this year, and we're committed to doing just that. So I'm sure as soon as those details become finalized, like I said, the government, our corporate sponsors, BTC, Rubus Collect, the JCMP, we're all at the table now, and we're trying to come up with the best plan to keep people safe and to keep our culture live and strong.
Mm-hmm. So that is still a possibility. Okay.
Yes.
For both parades, or will we have to scale down to one? What are you thinking at this point?
I'm thinking, due to the time, the financial resources, it may just be one experience this year. We haven't decided on if it'll be a Boxing Day experience or a New Year's Day experience, but we pretty much agreed that it'll be one experience this year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming there'll be caps on the groups as well, the sizes.
Absolutely. So there will be a maximum amount of participants that can participate in the parades. We still want to adhere to social distancing and keep as much persons as safe as possible. But we're also looking at stuff to keep additional steps to keep people safe. So we are looking at developing for those brass wind instruments, which the Ministry of Health most concerns about. But we found that they have those instruments have what's called wind guards that could block air and all the stuff from entering the atmosphere, while it's not affecting the sound quality of the instrument. We're looking at whistle guards. So we're just looking at everything to put the protocols in place to keep it safe and to hold the spirit of Junkanoo alive. Mm-hmm. But what I would say, Dwight, is whatever we develop, it won't be in the vein of a massive competition. So this will be more about the spirit of Junkanoo, the spirit of our Bahamian culture.
Okay. Well, let's get back to that in a second. Now, you mentioned virtual if you cannot do the in-person. Tell us about that, how you see that potentially working.
So a virtual event is where we're going to get different engineers and video producers, and we're going to find a studio or studios large enough to hold about 50, 100 persons from each group. Those persons were able to be recorded doing their presentation. A film, a lengthy film will be produced, and it will be shown or premiered either on the Boxing Day or the New Year's Day night in question. And so right now we're in the process of canvassing the countries, getting the listing of all of the studios that are available, different production teams, as how much it will cost to film all of that different stuff like that. So if we have the virtual experience, that will kind of be sort of the vein in which it will be produced.
Wow. Okay. How long would that take to be done, and when would you start filming that?
Yeah. So if we decide, the powers that be, and we all agree that it'll be the virtual process, we're looking at as early as November to start recording all of those videos so they can be edited. And all of the technical stuff, which I'm sure you are aware of, to be shown in time for end of December during the holiday season. So if there is virtual, we anticipate that in early November on different dates for different groups, of course, those recordings.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to explore the non-competitive parade that you're talking about. And just how much time do we have? It's already practically October. For anything to be done in terms of costumes and the practicing the choreography, if we do happen to do the in-person parade. So we're going to explore all of this with Dion Miller with the JCNP after the break. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Wait, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, but just a hard day, Dwight.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and Gretzy.
We need to start joking about everything, This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Wait, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us boy one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet his boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life in Junkanoo.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you, and your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau, or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Some of us lost our jobs, but some of us realized just how essential our jobs were to others. Some of y'all work me dead hard though.
Who, me?
Feels welcome, seen and heard, valued in love and supported. This Character Day, October 20th, we are saluting our essential workers. Log on to CharacterDayBahamas.org to nominate a hidden hero today.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Laws Adjusters.
In my final moments now about traffic watch this morning, and the morning commute, it's in full effect. You've got inclement weather that seems the order of the day today. The overcast skies and thunderstorms and the intermittent rain is going to be with us for a while. So driving with extreme caution and care is a priority on those wet and slippery streets and the water flows that you may encounter today. Southwards gateways to the city, they're full. You've got heavy traffic line getting out still on Gladstone Road. Those northbound dual lanes with Malabala Highway, they're also locked in with heavy traffic. Still having heavy wait time getting out onto Tony'sville and Darling. Got some wait time in line also on Carmichael Road on the exit to Blue Hill Road. Not as stagnant as the other two routes on getting out, but your ride will be slowed down. And by this hour, your entire trip from there on Blue Hill Road until you get over the hill is being slowed by the traffic on that route. But once you get past the $20 million roundabout, your ride kind of frees up heading into the city. Leaving East Street from the deep south, you will encounter your regular morning traffic crossing Soldier Road. It gets a bit busy in there and into the roundabout at the Independence Drive Highway. For most of the island, though, the traffic isn't bad. It's typical morning flow going on out here. Soldier Road going into the Wolf Road, Brennan Road, and Village Road intersection is causing some backups. And then over on the Eastern Road, you've got your traffic built up there trying to get out into the city. So for most of the island, it's pretty normal as to what's happening with traffic running across the city. This National Traffic Report is service of Dr. Danny Johnson and Associates at Foot Michael International, who's offering the simplest and safest treatment for foot injuries. They're located at Dean's Lane atop the hill at Fort Charlotte. Call them at 322-5402. That's 322-5402 for more info. With the Riders Got to look at traffic in real time. I'm VANN.
Michael was in a horrible car accident. Prudential Losses got him the settlement he deserved. Sierra's roof received hurricane damage. Thanks to Prudential, she and her kids are happy with their claim settlement. Tammy fractured her ankle in a slip and fall. Prudential saved her time, money, and peace of mind. Prudential Loss Adjusters are here for you whenever a tragedy strikes. Call 322-4026 now.
Protect the things that really matter to you. Shield Insurance is the insurance company that grows with you to meet your insurance needs through this beautiful adventure we call life. From automobile to home to life and health, boat, liability, construction, and business insurance, Shield has affordable policies, flexible options, friendly service, and the expertise to protect your hard-earned assets. Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau, call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school? He could do join you in?
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all the day.
Business Report brought to you by CFAL. The Fiscal Responsibility Council releasing its first assessment of the government's fiscal strategy report, revealing that the last administration was broadly compliant in providing the content required by the Fiscal Responsibility Act, though the council chided the former government for omitting important statistics and data in its report and for not providing a standalone fiscal adjustment plan, the two times it was forced to deviate from its fiscal plan. The council assessment was of the government's 2020 FSR, in which it largely provided facts and figures on the country's fiscal performance and direction as prescribed by the Act, though the council contended that more could have been added in the way of additional data, especially forward-looking macroeconomic data. The report saying that there's a need for tightening and strengthening of the structure of the analysis, including strengthening linkages of performance data and macroeconomic conditions to projected outcomes, and connectivity of strategies and projected outcomes to supporting justifications. It also says that as FSRs are subject to independent assessments of compliance, the structure should closely align with the content requirements and should build a framework of analysis explicitly around those requirements with focused integration of other supporting content for effective analysis. The assessment report grades the government's input on whether it was compliant, generally compliant, somewhat compliant, or non-compliant in the provision of information required by the FRA. And the government was found to be non-compliant in presenting exchange rates with major partners, the level of financial performance guarantees, an assessment of the consistency of the planned fiscal policy aggregates and measurable fiscal objectives, and its reason for missing information. The council noted that the government relied on data from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, for its submission to a macroeconomic forecast. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. The Department of Aviation will, in the coming weeks, whittle down to at least 5 or 6 of 180 people who have expressed interest in partnering with the government for the redevelopment and management of Family Island airports. Director of Aviation Algernon Cargill, adding that the request for a proposal pre-qualification process would be issued before the end of the week, as the department moves full steam ahead of beginning the bidding process by November. Challenger Energy Group, PLC, formerly Bahamas Petroleum Company, continues to negotiate the final amounts owed to the government for its leases in the Bahamas, while also still negotiating to extend those leases for another 3 years. The company said this in its 2020 annual report and accounts released yesterday, adding that it has relinquished the lease for the Miami license in the northern Bahamas. The annual report also revealed that the company continues to owe money to service providers for the work done on the Perseverance 1 test well that the company completed earlier this year. While the company did not find commercial at that test site, which cost the company $45 million, it says that there remains the distinct possibility of commercial quantities of oil within the remaining 4 licensed areas in the southern Bahamas. If Challenger is successful in negotiating a renewal of the licenses, it said that during the next 3-year exploration period, the company would take a drip or drop position. Read more about that in today's Guardian Business section. Global shares mostly falling so far today as concerns about China chipped away at investor optimism following a mixed finish on Wall Street. In Asia, Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 lost 0.2% to finish down, and Australia's S&P slipped as well. A power crunch in some parts of China has shut down factories and left many households without electricity under an effort to meet official energy use targets. That could have global repercussions, including on supplies needed for manufacturing throughout Asia, coming right ahead of the year-end shopping season. That's on top of parts and raw material shortages that already ail regional manufacturing because of supply disruptions caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Analysts say the power shortage in China could become prolonged as the demand for coal and natural gas surges during the winter. Another lingering market worry resonating from China is the possible collapse of one of China's biggest real estate developers, Evergrande Group, which is struggling to avoid a default on billions of dollars of debt. Consumer spending has been the key driver for the economic recovery, and it has been crimped in part by rising cases of COVID-19 contagious Delta variant, which means a huge concern in Asia as well. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Monday. Your market movers, Commonwealth Brewery moving 1,000 shares, closing up 31 cents to 6.30. J.S. Johnson moving 206, unchanged at 15.50. Consolidated Water down 2 cents to 2.32. Emira Incorporated down 4 cents to 11.21. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,077.07, up 4.12. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with you. We're talking with Dion Miller, the chair of the JCNP, Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, getting an update on where things stand at this point with the Junkanoo season, if we're going to have one at all. Okay, so before the break, you mentioned it, that this would just be in the spirit of Junkanoo, not a competitive parade, whatever it is. Let's talk about that. How hard and fast are you on that, and why does it have to do us?
So, Dwight, what we're faced with is two major challenges and why we had to go, if possibly in that direction. Number one, time. It's in the Junkanoo world is already October. I know the calendar says September 28th, but it's already October, according to the Junkanoo calendar. So persons and Junkanoos won't have time to produce a lot of fresh new costumes with the ability to compete. So we're looking at a timing thing. So the time is passed for that process. Another aspect is the finances. The traditional finances that are available to Junkanoo and culture aren't not just there again. If anything possible will happen, we will be relying solely and predominantly on the government of the Bahamas. And with all that is going on in the country, we're not just sure or how sure we're how the governmental coffers are at this moment. And so that, coupled with we're still in the middle of a pandemic, although persons needed, we know this Delta variant is still out there and it's still spreading at a fast and alarming rate. And so we came to the conclusion that we did not want Junkanoos necessarily in the shack environment. And so due to the financing, the COVID pandemic, and all of that, we've decided to have a parade, if possible, in the spirit of Junkanoo, void of any serious or major competition. Now, there are a number of categories that take place during the traditional parades. Music, choreograph, off the shoulder, step dance, free dance, etc., etc. If we are successful in planning an experience this year, we're thinking to only maybe have a small category on 3 or 2 of those particular categories, maybe a banner, or maybe a music, or maybe a choreograph section. We do not want to get Junkanoos all riled up and force them to go above and beyond in their means and going into great expense. And so our focus will be the spirit of Junkanoo. We've already missed a year of Junkanoo, the first time that has happened in over 50 years. Suffered a lot of loss. We have lost a lot of our prominent members in the Junkanoo community. And so this one will be about getting back to Bay Street, getting back to the celebration, and enhancing that spirit of Junkanoo.
Yeah. What's been the reaction to all of this from Junkanoos? What are they saying? What are they telling you? What are they hoping for? What's the mood in the shack?
So generally, everyone wants to be able to get back to doing what we love to do. That is, celebrating Junkanoo, spending time in the shacks with our friends, our brothers and sisters, as we prepare for parades. So there is a desire to get back to Junkanoo. It's like you're jonesing for some Junkanoo music. Every time you hear a little piece of Junkanoo, you get excited and you reminisce. But there's also caution and concern. Like I said, COVID has touched the community in a real way. If I look at just take one group, for example, the Shell Saxon Superstars. The Saxon Superstars would have lost about 4 to 5 members out of their leadership structure over the past year and a half. So that's a massive blow to that organization. So there's a fear out there of safety and keeping everyone safe versus the need to get out there and to celebrate and to take part and to celebrate our culture. And so it's a mixed bag. I think for us, there's so many hurdles. We've a resolution to the funding and I guess finalizing a plan to keep everyone safe. We don't want to be blamed for an outbreak of the COVID pandemic. So that plays heavy on our decisions and on our mind as well too.
Yeah.
So we want to do our part. We have been doing our part to push the vaccine and to, just recently the JCMB partnered with PAHO. We're doing several PSAs geared to Junkanooers and being into encouraging them to, to take the vaccine, to listen to the government mandate, to exercise, stay fit, stay healthy. And so those are things that are weighing heavily on our minds. Dwight.
Yeah, wow, I can imagine. And condolences to everybody who's lost. I know it's been rough. It's been terrible. But I have to ask you this. Do you think irreparable damage has been done here? Do you think that this will change missing these 2 years? This will change the way people behave around this time, around the holidays? And do you think damage has been done?
I think so. I think, and that's my fear of not having anything again this year. We become complacent and get adjusted to our current state of life and way of life. And so I think it's very important for us to keep not just Junkanoo, but all forms of culture to the forefront and to ensure that it's embedded into our ethos as we go forward. I am concerned. Speaking to a lot of Junkanoos, a lot of Junkanoos have reservation of getting back in the shack and taking part in parades again, and that's due to the absence. So I think there will be an effect as to how major or whatever I can't grasp yet, but I think we'll have a huge effect on Junkanoo and on culture in the country.
Yeah, and Junkanoo is a business. What type of damage has been done in that regard?
Absolutely. We done a report several years ago with Dr. Nicolette Bethel, and it indicated that Junkanoo pumps some $20+ million into this economy every year. And so what that means is, 2 years and no activity, where persons can't sell their wares, crate paper, the Junkanoo tricks, glue, contact cement, all of it. Seamstress, there's a number of persons that benefit from the economy of Junkanoo, including the Junkanooers who, to produce build costumes, etc. So there's millions of dollars that is absent in our economy today. The downtime was given us as an administrative branch the time to reorganize and to put some things in place. I'm sure if you would have heard that the JC Corporation entered into an agreement with the government to lease 13.6 acres of prime commercial property on the main Gladstone Road.
Yes.
And so right now we're finalizing a select committee, not necessarily comprised of Junkanoos, but with business-minded persons to help us develop a plan to make that village, that Junkanoo village and that site a reality. We were grateful and thankful to the previous administration for coming through with that aspect, and we're looking forward to working with the new administration on assisting us as we move towards making our dreams of a museum, our own administrative building, etc., a reality.
Yeah. Tell us a little more about that, what we can expect there, and do you have any timelines in mind as yet?
So we have what I've said. We would have received the property, so that's signed, sealed, and that's done. Right now, we're in the process of forming a committee to plan that we're reaching out to several engineers and architects with a Junkanoo background to design that project. We envision that to be a space where not just for Junkanoos, but where all Bahamians can come and celebrate and to view Junkanoo all year round. So we're working on our business plan right now. We want to develop a new experience for Junkanoo outside of just the boxing, the traditional boxing in the USA parades. So where we engage the cruise lines, the hotels, so that they can transport persons in to see this culture, this awesome thing called Junkanoo Live. And so right now we're finalizing that. We're waiting for the government to get settled back in so we can get back to the table to start discussing PPVs, private-public partnerships to fund, develop, and move the project forward. So, like I said, I anticipate within the next year or two, we'll start to see some major developments and way of that property out there.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. It's an exciting time for Junkanoos.
Definitely. Keep us posted on that. All right. So we want to open up the phone lines and the text and the tweets and the Facebook. You can tell us what you think. Call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Again, tweet us, Facebook us, or text us 422-4796. All right. So it's still up in the air about what's going to happen this season. But what about next year? Can we say definitively that there will be Junkanoo next year, December 2022, January 2023?
Yeah, so that is the plan, Dwight. We anticipate and we're working to keep the vaccination rates improving. And so we feel really confident that next year, 2022, will be a massive year for culture, and that we will start to get back as close as normal, God willing, as possible. So we have 2022 earmarked as when we will return to our major competitions, such as the boxing and the USA parade, hopefully with persons. I think the COVID environment will always be around. So although we may get back to parading next year, stuff still as mask mandates and etc. will still be in place to keep the public safe as we go forward. But we're really looking strongly towards from financial year 2022 as a real bounce back year for culture and Junkanoo in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm. I know, but was there any thought to, fine, we can't really do something, we might not be able to do something for December and January coming up, but what if we were to postpone it to the spring or even the summer and then still have our traditional December, January next year? Is that in consideration at all, pushing this back maybe 6 months?
Absolutely, Dwight. You hit the nail right on the head. And I'm smiling now because it's like you were reading in my notes. So that is one of the things that we are strongly considering a welcome back, a get back to Junkanoo sometime if possible between spring and the summer months. So possibly 3 major parades in the year. Mm-hmm. So that is something that we have discussed and something that we are strongly looking at as well. In the event that things just don't work out this year.
Right.
But yes, Dwight, that proposal is before the government as well.
Okay, that's wonderful because, they didn't cancel the Olympics. They just kept pushing it back. But yeah,
absolutely.
So what will be the determining factors? When will you decide that, okay, this is what we can do? We either can do the virtual or we can either do the limited in-person or we will just wait 6 months before we try to do a big parade. How will you determine?
Our original plan prior to elections being called was actually October 5th to have everything finalized. And like I said, of course, election threw a wrench into that. And so I'm not sure what the new timeline is to have something definite and final solution. I expect that it will be very shortly, within the next two weeks as time is going. But like I said, in the upcoming days, I'm looking forward to getting back at the table with the government, with our partners in corporate, on finalizing those plans. Once all of those options, 3 or 4 options, once those 4 options are complete, all the details are in place, all the protocols, et cetera, we will submit those to Cabinet, and hopefully Cabinet, on advice of the Ministry of Health and everyone else, approves one or more of those options, and we will go from there. But we'd like to get things wrapped up right within the next 2 weeks and just get everything out there.
Yeah. I'm going to put you on the spot. I mean, are you leaning toward any one of those options other than the postponement, but the virtual versus the in-person?
Me personally, Dwight, I've been pushing a strong proponent of a return to Bay Street, using a reduced seating model, as I spoke to. Like I said, on Bay Street, we can hold anywhere between 7,000 to 9,000 persons. The corporation is willing to cut down on that about 50%, where we could have persons, 3 to 6 feet distance. We can possibly have sections in place for fully vaccinated persons. We'll ensure that all of the participants are either vaccinated or within 3 days of the parade produce a negative PCR test. So we're seeing what the world is what's happening in the world with all the major sporting arenas, where we have 70,000 plus persons in the stadium safely, no outbreaks. We're encouraged by that, and that will be the main trend on which we're pushing and our partners in government and corporate to agree with us on, to get back to Bay Street, do it in a safe manner. So that'll be my priority.
Yeah, and still requiring masks, and would that be part
Absolutely.
of it? Yep.
Absolutely. So all patrons, either you have your negative, even if you're vaccinated. So even if with or without, either you have to produce of that parade, and that's for fans as well as participants. Of course, there will be a mask mandate. All persons will have to be masked. We will have dedicated entries for all fans to come through, where your temperatures and all of that stuff will be checked. And so all of those details, right, we have worked through and we'll continue to work through. And we're just hopeful that the government will select that, but if not that, one of the other options, so we could do some sort of Junkanoo experience.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take our final break and then be back to wrap things up. Talking with Dion Miller with the JCNP, talking about Junkanoo. Will we have a Junkanoo season? It's the big question. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But at CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
Some of us lost our jobs, but some of us realized just how essential our jobs were to others. Some of y'all work me dead hard though. Who, me? Be the reason somebody feels welcome, seen and heard, valued in love and supported. This Character Day, October 20th, we are saluting our essential workers. Log on to CharacterDayBahamas.org to nominate a hidden hero today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And it's time for your final look at weather for this morning. We have a severe weather warning for you, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now until 10:45 a.m. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect for New Providence. At 9:20, Department of Meteorology's radar and satellite imagery depicting a cluster of showers and thunderstorms across the area and moving towards the southwest. Some of these will be heavy and thunderstorms, strong to severe at times, causing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, hail, and possible waterspout or tornado activity. Boaters in the warning area should seek safe harbor, and residents should stay away from windows and stay indoors when conditions worsen. Residents should not seek shelter under trees, as trees could become lightning conductors. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning from 9:25 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. for New Providence and its adjacent waters. With the weather for today, we've got a frontal trough near the Central Islands that's continuing to produce pockets of unsettled weather across portions of the area as it weakens. Elsewhere, a weak high-pressure system north of the islands will support mostly stable conditions across the northwest Bahamas. For today, look for partly to mostly sunny, very warm conditions with a chance of a few isolated showers or thunderstorms. Mostly fair and warm with a chance of a few stray showers or an isolated thunderstorm tonight. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness, hot conditions, a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. The heat index, though, up to 96 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius, but no triple digits for a change. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. Over the next few days, high pressure will be the dominant weather feature. Meanwhile, Hurricane Sam, which is well east of the Bahamas, will still generate some swells that could affect the islands from tomorrow through Saturday. In the tropics, we're watching Sam as it heads near Bermuda, but no threat to us. And there are a couple other areas out of the tropics we're watching. Stay tuned to Guardian Radio for the latest on all of that. That's your Morning Blend weather check. We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with my guest, Dion Miller, with the JCNP. We're talking about the Junkanoo season. I want to get your reaction to it. Again, you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. I've got a call here, Dion. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and to your guest.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, sir. No, I was trying to get him when Mr. Kim Sleeper gets on the Union Man.
Oh.
I wanted to remind him. He was talking about. He mentioned the former administration one, but I wanted to take him back to the administration before the former one, which would have been the PLP, when PK and others rested. They had promoted 951 officers a month and weeks and days leading up to the 2012 election. And so I just want to remind him of that. All government do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know. How could you promote 951 from the top rank down to the constable, and the force probably only had. I spent 35 years there. So when I left, they only had about 3,000.
Okay.
That's about 1/3 they promoted at one time, and the PLP still lose the election. Yeah, that's all government do it.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Dion, the thing we love more than Junkanoo, still politics. Could organize a politics parade. Anyway, okay. Person's going to talk about Junkanoo this morning. One final call on this. Wow. Caller, good morning. You're on Morning Blend. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, morning, Blend.
Hi.
I have a question.
About Junkanoo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Junkanoo.
Yes.
The last thing I heard about the Valley Boys, they were saying they was out. Now, maybe I might have missed something because of the corona and hanging low, but I'd just like to know if the Valley Boys in or out or what's going on with that situation, please.
Okay. All right. That was a couple years back, eh? Yeah, we still talking about that? We've all moved on. No? Do you know?
What I would say is that the JCNP and the Valley Boys have been having several fruitful meetings. I think there's a spirit of unity in Junkanoo now that we would like to see fostered, and I would just leave it at that. So we're all working to be united and as one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we've got about a minute left. Again, you say you hopefully within the next 2 weeks or so we'll have a clearer picture as to the.
So in the next 2 weeks, we should have a finalized plan as to what will take place this year in terms of Junkanoo.
And if by any chance we have a spike in the number of people who get vaccinated, will that make any difference at all in the direction we go?
I hope so. I was delighted when I heard the USA say that persons must be max vaccinated come November. I think that will aid the program here in the Bahamas well. And so I encourage all Junkanoos, all Bahamians, continue get vaccinated. Speak to your health officials, your doctors, and what's not. And do your part to try end this pandemic.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful that with the increase in vaccinations and with all of these different protocols and that we can put in place, that we should be successful to do some sort of Junkanoo experience, hopefully on Bay Street where we belong.
Yeah. Okay, Dion, thank you so much for talking with us this morning. We'll hope you're going to keep us posted and talk to us again real soon. But we're all keeping our fingers crossed, definitely. Thank you for talking with us.
No problem, Dwight, anytime.
Okay. All right. So we're going to leave you with some Junkanoo music as we wrap up the show today. But I know everyone's just anxious for something to seem like we're getting back to normal. So let's hope. Let's hope. Everybody, have a great day. I'll be back with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business tomorrow right here on Guardian Radio. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.